Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melanie, and while I'm not working my full-time corporate job, I run my own small business called amigurumi, where I specialize in making and selling crochet plushies. Sorry, that intro part took a little bit to do. I haven't really picked up my camera since my last video, so it's been a little bit. I'm a little bit out of practice, so just bear with me. And if you're not new here, you may have noticed something a little bit different with the intro of this video. So a friend of mine from high school reached out to me recently and mentioned he's been dabbling with animation for a little bit, and he was super nice enough to offer to make an intro card for my videos. Intro/end cards are something on my never-ending to-do list that I just can't seem to find time to do myself. So when he messaged me and offered to do that for me, I immediately said yes so I could check it off my list and not have to worry about it by myself. We both had a similar vision to make it pretty simplistic, and I think he did an amazing job executing it. So Will, if you happen to be watching this, thank you so much for doing this for me, and I hope you've been doing well. For those of you who are curious, feel free to check him out at WL Sterling on Instagram. He's an amazing artist as well, and I've always been envious about his artistic abilities, so definitely check out his stuff. But with all of that out of the way, we can finally get to the main reason why I'm assuming most of you are here, which is the crocheting. So I spent about the past month or so keeping myself pretty busy with crocheting, and I'm not really sure what's been going on, but in general my mind has been kind of like all over the place and really scatterbrained, and that definitely translated to my crocheting because this is the current situation. Let me just show you guys. So we currently have 1, 2, 3 buckets full of works in progress that I haven't finished yet, and 2 more unfinished giraffes that are sitting at my desk that I don't want to move my camera for right now, so I will insert a picture that I just took. I've mentioned this in previous videos before, but I personally don't really like having multiple works in progress just laying around unfinished. I usually try to finish one project at a time, but again, I don't know what's been up with me, but I have so many projects just laying around unfinished right now. Let me count how many I have real quick. Oh my god, I just counted and this is so embarrassing. But I currently have 15 works in progress, and that does not include some that have been laying around from a few months ago and the ones from like 2+ years ago. I knew it was kind of getting out of hand, but I didn't realize it would actually be in the double digits. I've never had this many unfinished projects laying around. Some of them I still have to crochet a few pieces and then assemble, but most of them literally is just sewing and assembling. So they really shouldn't take that long to finish. And I've implemented a rule for myself where I can't start on a new project until I finish up, I don't want to say all of them because I don't know if I can realistically finish up all of them or if I even want to finish up all of them. But let's try to finish up at least all of the ones we did over the past month. At the moment, the only event I have for the rest of the year is in December, so everything that I am making now is mainly in preparation for that event. So it's probably for the best to finish them up now instead of putting it off until later. I think we're gonna start with the giraffes so I can free up some space on my desk. But yeah, I'm excited to get this going. Feel free to work on your own projects as I hurry up and finish mine, and let's get started. I'm about to head out to Atlanta for the day in just a few minutes, and there's a few things I want to carry with me, so I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to finally whip out my brand new Teddy Blake bag. I've never been a purse girl before. This is literally like the first purse I've ever really owned, but when Teddy Blake reached out to me, I couldn't help but take a look at their collection and see all the different styles and designs they offered. They even release new styles every month, so their collection is always changing and growing. I decided on the 12-inch Vanessa Pomelato in black and red, and I don't own very many leather products, but you can tell that this is quality Italian leather. Like, it feels so smooth and so durable. This particular style has an enclosed zipper pocket to divide up the space, and it even comes with a crossbody strap so you can style it in so many different ways. We gotta bring crochet supplies for the day, and it fits perfectly in the bag so I can bring all of my crochet supplies on the go. Teddy Blake offers a variety of quality designs at just a fraction of the price of designer brands, so if you're interested in getting your own Teddy Blake handbag, feel free to check out the link in my description below, and be sure to use the code TBMelagurumi30 for an extra $30 off. Thank you so much to Teddy Blake for sponsoring this video, and I'm so excited to bring this out. Let's go! Hello again. So it's been about a week since I last filmed. While I was working on finishing up all the whips, I started noticing a lot of hand pain, so I decided it was probably best to really take like a full week off as a break to really rest my hands. I'm really trying to think about longevity here, so I need to give my hands that break. But anyways, we're back now, so let me show you guys what I've been able to finish up. So starting off, I made 2 more giraffes by the Crochet Chameleon on Instagram. I now have 4 giraffes total in my inventory, and I think that should be enough. So now I don't have to worry about making any more for the rest of the year. Again, I've talked about this giraffe pattern in a few of my videos now, but it's one of my favorites of all time. They whip up generally pretty quickly, and I just love the finished size with Sweet Snuggles Light. So 4 of these big boys. And then we have this adorable panda right here. Pattern is by Chirka Toys on Instagram. If you watched my last market prep video, I actually made one of these pandas with the chenille yarn from Ice Yarns, and that one turned out a little bit smaller than I would have liked. But this time around, I decided to use Sweet Snuggles Light with a 6.5mm hook, and this was exactly what I was looking for. It's noticeably bigger than the first one I made, so as a result, I will be able to price this one a little bit more. And then we got to finish up a few characters this time around. So if you're familiar with the Sumiko Garashi characters, first we have Tokage. The last time I used this pattern was actually for Awa last year, and one of the attendees told me some like lore about the characters or something. Like, this isn't the current version of Tokage. I think he's like green now without spikes or something. I don't know. I don't really follow the characters or like their storyline or like background or anything like that, but I'm used to seeing him in blue. But I have seen the green character before too. I think they're both technically like correct, but I'm just used to the blue one. You can find this pattern from Smallberry Studio on Instagram. And then we have 2 sleeping Kirby's. This pattern is by AQ Crochets on Instagram and has got to be one of my favorite patterns of all time. He is just so cute, and it helps that the hat is removable. So you can make this pattern super customizable with different hat colors and even different Kirby colors as well. And then you guys know how I said I wasn't gonna start on any new projects until I finished up my whips. That did not happen. But who's faulting me? I'm still making stuff for my inventory, so it's fine. Anyways, so I ended up making this strawberry Bulbasaur that I'm sure some of you have seen before. This pattern was by Crocheted by Elle on Instagram. This is actually only the 2nd time I've ever used this pattern. I think I'm just a little turned off by the assembly part with all the leaves and the head and like aligning it properly. Also, just due to the pattern and the placement of everything, it ends up being a little like top heavy, so it's kind of hard to have it resting on all 4s on a flat surface. The strawberry bulb isn't heavy enough to weigh down the back for it to like be stable and not tip over like this, but it's still really cute and I love how it turned out. I honestly might make another one. And then lastly, we have Junie the banana. This is a free pattern by Sweet Creams Co. on Instagram. Pattern is directly off of her Instagram page, but it's so tiny and so cute. I'm not entirely sure how many more I want to make, but if this is the one and only, that's fine too. Okay, I think we've covered everything so far, so let's keep working on these whips. I promise it's not gonna take another week for me to check in. Okay, it's only been about 4 days since I last checked in, so I'm doing a little bit better about checking in more frequently. First, here's the little blanket hoodie debut. Usually whenever I'm at my desk, I have a blanket on me because I get cold pretty easily, but that doesn't usually cover my arms, and a lot of the time, especially if I'm wearing short sleeves, my arms get really cold. And I've been seeing a lot of crocheters have this kind of like blanket hoodie to cover their whole body, including their arms, and I don't know why I didn't bother to buy one until recently, but this is probably one of the best purchases I made for myself in a really long time. I'm so comfy. This specific one goes like all the way down to my feet, so it's super long and covers everything, and I don't have to worry about getting cold while I crochet anymore. It's gone to the point where I've just stopped caring, and I even wear this during my work meetings. I'm just trying to be comfortable. But anyways, I've been able to finish up a few things this week. Some were for my work in progress buckets that I finally was able to finish up, and some of them were brand new things I decided to make this week. First, we have another large chubby dino in yellow this time. Pattern is by Studio Phoebe 22 on Instagram. Right now I have pink, yellow, and green chubby dinos, and I still need to make blue and purple before I have the whole rainbow of them. But after I make the other 2, I can be done with the chubby dinos. And then if these 2 look familiar, these are actually characters from the game Five Nights at Freddy's. I've personally never played before, but ever since I started selling my crochet plushies, Five Nights at Freddy's characters have like been pretty high on the requested list. So I found a really cute pattern bundle by DE Crochet by Sisters on Instagram. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not in the fandom and literally never played before, but I think these 4 characters are like the main ones you usually see. So I have Freddy right here. And then I think this one is called Chica. So I'm halfway done and need to make 2 more characters, but I'm excited to have the whole gang of them together. I think they'd be really cute. And then we have a couple free patterns we worked on this week. First is this adorable Gudetama by Crochet by Aria on Instagram. Isn't he so cute? If you're not familiar with who or what Gudetama is, he's basically just a little egg yolk and he's resting on his egg white. I made 1 for Anime Week in Atlanta last year, and I think I want 2 in stock this time around, so I will need to make another one. This pattern was really easy to read and worked up so quick, so definitely check it out if you want to make your own little Gudetama. And then if you can't already tell based on what I post on my socials and what I share with all of you guys, I'm a pretty big fan of Pokemon. I haven't really explored a lot of the newer games, so the newer Pokemon I'm not that familiar with, but I think this next one is just so cute. So I only learned what this Pokemon was recently because I got a request for a custom order to make it, and it was really fortunate that there was already a free pattern out for this one, and I think he just turned out so cute. Ta-da! So this is the Pokemon Snom. He's basically just kind of like an icicle hedgehog, for those of you who don't follow Pokemon or don't really know what this is. But this is a free pattern by by.geeky on Instagram. Bye. I used Sweet Snuggles Light and a 6.5mm hook to make this, and look how giant he is. I think the actual Pokemon is supposed to be like barely handheld size, so he's a pretty big boy. Sewing all the spikes and everything kind of took a while, but he's so cute and my customer really loved him, so I'm excited to ship him out eventually. I don't know how popular of a Pokemon Snom is in general, but the pattern worked out really quick, so I think I'll probably make at least 1 for Anime Week in Atlanta as well. And lastly, I don't know why it took me this long to finally get this pattern, but I finally bought it this week after seeing it literally everywhere and finally wanting to test it out for myself. Do you guys recognize it? This is the very popular Maple Chicken pattern by Oaken Marlowe. This was a super popular pattern that came out last year, I believe, and so many crocheters make it for their inventory. I literally see this thing everywhere, and I don't know why it took me this long to finally get the pattern for myself, but I think I kind of just gave into the peer pressure and decided that it was finally time to just see what the hype was all about. It was definitely super quick to make, but honestly, I don't know what seems off with it, but I just personally am not a huge fan of it. I don't know. Whenever I see people make these chickens, I think they're pretty cute, but mine, I don't know if it's the shaping, I don't know if it's the size. I'm just not like thrilled about it. Like, a lot of people have success selling these, and I might try making a few more just to have and put out there and see if anyone does want them, but I'm not gonna spend a huge amount of time and stress worrying about making a lot of these. I feel like I have other products in my inventory that other people gravitate towards, but again, like my personal favorites and dislikes don't really matter as much as what the customer likes. So yeah, even though I don't really like it as much as some of the other plushies I've made, I'm still gonna make a couple because I know some people actually like them, and I think these would be really cute. Oh my god, the camera battery died and then it got super hot in the Blinkity. But anyways, as I was saying, even though I'm not a huge fan of these chickens, they are pretty popular and it wouldn't hurt to make a couple of them just to see what other people think. So I'll just make a couple more of these, have them out, and see what people think of them. I also think these would be really cute as blue chickens from Stardew Valley, if any of you are familiar. Again, I'm not. I've just heard from other people that they're pretty popular, so it wouldn't hurt to try them out too, so we'll see. So that's everything I finished so far this week. There's definitely a few more in the whip buckets that I need to work on, and there's even new projects that I decided I wanted to get going on too, so we're just gonna keep moving along. few more supplies that just got delivered this week, so let's do a little unhaul. I think I was trying to combine unboxing and haul together. Let's do a little unboxing. First we can do ice yarns. I was checking their website and saw a few colors that I was running low of, so I decided it was probably best to just restock now while they had them available. They have it vacuum sealed so nicely. So I got 8 more skeins of this gold color, 4, 8, 12 of this yellow, and then another 12 of this light salmon skin tone color that I use for all my characters and everything. So after shipping and everything, these 32 skeins cost about $130, delivered from Turkey to the US. I think Ice Yarns has had a lot of changes in their manufacturing, so the more recent batches of yarn that I've ordered from them have been a little bit different compared to like the old ones that I currently have in stock still. That's just what we're gonna have to work with, I guess. Like, just basing it off of first glance, and it could be just the wrapper. This yellow right here doesn't entirely match the one I have back there, so we'll have to do a little bit of comparison eventually whenever I get to these ones. And then I have 2 boxes from Joann. Joann has the tendency to send your order out in multiple boxes because they just send their supply from whichever warehouse has it available. So your order can be split up into like different parts and arrive at different times in a way. But luckily I didn't order that much more yarn and both boxes arrived on the same day. I forgot to mention this with Ice Yarns, but I usually order the yarn Chenille Baby, and then all the yarn I ordered from Joann this time around is Big Twist Baby Bear. This will be my first time having Baby Bear in stock and using it in general, so I'm pretty excited because when I've felt it in Joann in store in person, it feels very similar to all the other chenille yarns that I use, like Sweet Snuggles Light or Chenille Home Slim from Michaels. I got 2 in this Wisteria color and 2 in this shrimp color, 2 in this color Toffee, and 5 in this sage color, which I think would be really nice for leggy frogs. But just from feeling this specific skein and looking at all the sage ones, I don't know, the quality of it is not as nice as when I first saw it in store. Maybe I should have just bought it in store when I first saw it. But it still seemed usable, so I think we'll see how it'll turn out whenever I make stuff out of it. And then I'm currently using my last bag of polyfill right there, so I did have to restock and get another 20-pound box down there. But I think that's it for today's vlog. We've gone through the past couple of weeks kind of scattered all over the place, trying to finish up a bunch of works in progress and then making a few new things and really trying to get myself prepared for the rest of the year. Thank you guys for watching and following along a very chaotic past couple of weeks. As always, all patterns that I mentioned in my videos are linked in the description below, so definitely check it out if any of the patterns I used interest you. I have a lot of videos in store for the rest of the year as I prep for my biggest event, so definitely like and subscribe to stay tuned on my progress. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!